Hey everybody, welcome to the newest episode of The Bearded Gamer Show. As always, I'm your host, Chris Arnone, The Bearded Gamer. Since it is still November, just barely, I do want to talk once again about why the fabulous beard is missing, and that is for Movember. Great cause, helps to fight men's cancer, been raising money. Got to give a special shout out to Matt Ashbaugh, who recently gave us a donation and put us up and over the $300 mark. So it's not a ton of money, but you know what? It's going for a great cause. I may look ridiculous, but we've raised money to help fight men's cancer. What have you done in November? All right, so like I said, there is still time. Go to Movember.com. You can donate money to our team, VG Charts, or just look for me, Chris Arnone, and throw some money down for a wonderful, wonderful cause. But nevertheless, I am looking forward to the beard coming back next month. All right, guys, good news, bad news. So we'll start off this episode with some bad news. Now, the PlayStation Vita, one big question that people have had about it is, will it have the retro game support? Of course, there's a great library of PS1 classics, some TurboGrafx-16 games, a lot of older titles that are on the PSN that you can download and play on your PlayStation 3 or PSP. It has now been officially announced that the Vita will not support these games, at least at launch, and it will be a discussion somewhere down the road of when that support will come. And I think that's just crappy. I think I've said before, I think Sony needs to do everything they can to convince PSP owners that, yes, they need to upgrade. They need to grab the Vita when it comes out. And the PS1 Classics, that's a really, really popular feature. And if you're not supporting that at launch, I think it's really going to hurt their sales right from the get-go. I've got quite a substantial library of PS1 Classics on my PS3, and I was really looking forward to playing them on the new Vita. Now, granted, I'm a games journalist, so I'll be buying the Vita when it comes out anyway. But for those that it's more of a question, they might be willing to hang on to their PSPs a little longer and wait for that support to come down the line. So that kind of sucks. All right, some good news. Now, back at E3, EA had announced that for people who bought Battlefield 3 on PS3, they would get Battlefield 1943 for free. People were very, very excited about this. And then it didn't happen. No one got a code or anything else that would give them Battlefield 1943. Well, now a class action lawsuit has been levied against them, and so now all of a sudden EA is like, oh yes, we're sorry, we meant to give you this. And so now if you have purchased Battlefield 3 for PS3 and have redeemed your online pass, you will now get a code for Battlefield 1943. You just got to jump on their website and register for it. So they are making good on that initial promise. Granted, a little late, but the good news is they are making good on it. Some more good news. Now, this one goes in the rumor category, but still, it seems to be promising, and a lot of sites are reporting it and seem to be getting some confirmations about all of this. Kinect 2 is in development. Their next generation Kinect to go with the next generation Xbox. And they're saying it's so accurate, it can read lips, it can read emotions, which I find that kind of strange. I used to know a girl that whenever she got really mad, she would start laughing like she was in hysterics. So it'd be really funny if they could figure that one out, because I never could. But, you know, it's pretty exciting, the new technology. Of course, there's also some new rumors regarding the next generation of Xbox. One is that they're going to have two different SKUs available. One will be high spec, come with everything. It's going to be, you know, for the core gamer, does a lot of gaming. But then they're going to have another one that's going to be the sort of cheap as Lindsay Lohan version, where it's just going to be how cheap can we make this thing so that people will buy it. But I think that strategy would be really good to hit the low-hanging fruit as well as the hardcore gamer. You know, all this is still probably a couple years off, so it's hard to confirm or say how much legitimacy there is to any of this. But it would be really exciting to see what the Kinect can do in its next generation. That sounds pretty cool. All right, finish off with some more bad news. Once again for the PlayStation Vita. Seems to be a bad day for Sony and their little new handheld that might be. They have announced their memory card pricing structure. And let's see what you think of this. 4 gigabytes is going to be $30. 8 gigabytes is $45. 16 gigabytes is $70. And finally, the 32 gigabyte will be $120. Now, granted, it was Black Friday, but I just bought a new 16 gigabyte flash drive for $12. So 16 gigs on the Vita would cost me $70. This is ridiculous. Even normal prices on things like SD cards and flash drives, you're not paying anywhere near that much to get them. So once again, the return of proprietary hardware for consoles is rearing its ugly head. I know Microsoft was so bad about this with the 360 early on. They've gotten better as time's gone on with their memory cards and their hard drives and whatnot. But still, this stuff just always just rubs me the wrong way when you're just raping somebody to pay for storage that will work only with your device and nothing else. It's horrible, but when you corner the market, that's what you get to do. But still, it sucks. Bad, Sony. Bad. Don't do that. All right. Time for the pull list. All right, so once again, I got a quartet of comic books that are coming out this week that I think you should go pick up when you make your weekly trip to the comic book store. First up is Dorothy and the Wizard in Oz, number 3. Now, this is Scotty Young doing the art and Eric Shanower as writing it. And I've read the first 2 and read a preview of this third one, and it sort of strikes me as Alice in Wonderland meets The Wizard of Oz. It's just like, it's extra quirky and weird and kind of trippy, and I like it because it's also funny and very, very witty. And Scotty Young's art I've always been a fan of, and it's really cool to see him. He's done a lot of work with Wizard of Oz and some follow-ups to that, so he's very much in his element with this. And it just, it's this crazy sort of respinning of The Wizard of Oz. I wouldn't even call it a retelling. It's so different and so odd. But if you like quirky stuff, funny stuff, sort of trippy, fan of Lewis Carroll, this is definitely the kind of book you want to go and pick up. Next up this week, The Haunt, number 19. This is a brand new creative team. Now, I've been following Haunt for a while now. It's been out, obviously. This will be the 19th issue. Well, about a year and a half it's been going, and it's been really, really successful for Image in the sort of classic superhero story in a lot of ways. Not quite. It's still Image, but kind of down that road. I really enjoyed it, and now they're getting a brand new creative team, which of course means a brand new story. So this is going to be Joe Case doing the writing and Nathan Fox doing the art. Big fan of both of them. And so this is a great chance to jump in on the title. Like I said, new creative team means a new story, sort of a launching pad, if you will. So if you've heard of Haunt, been thinking about picking it up, now is definitely the time. Go and pick it up on Wednesday. Great place to jump in. Next up is Spaceman number 2. Now this comes from DC Comics, their Vertigo imprint, and this is from the Eisner Award-winning team that brought you 100 Bullets. Brian Azzarello doing the writing and Eduardo Rizzo doing the art. And I've gotten a chance to read the first one, read a preview of the second one, and it's really cool. I'm a big fan of old school sci-fi. I'm talking like Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers kind of stuff. And yet, this is Brian Azzarello, so it definitely brings some modern, mature themes to it, which, a lot of those old sci-fi things were very campy and goofy. Yeah, they're fun, I enjoy them, but the camp gets to be too much. But Azzarello, camp, that just doesn't happen. And so it's this great juxtaposition of the modern and the old. So if you're a big fan of sci-fi, if you're a fan of 100 Bullets, fan of Azzarello, definitely go pick up Spaceman number 2. Maybe see if you can find the back issue for number 1. Just going to be a 9-issue run. So definitely go grab that one. All right, last recommendation for this week is Uncanny X-Men number 2. Now, of course, they've sort of rebooted, made a new Uncanny X-Men, obviously. This is issue number 2. And I had a falling out with X-Men for a while. I'm a big X-Men fan, but hadn't been a real big fan of what had been going on since Joss Whedon's run on Astonishing. But this new run, you got the sort of house divided right now because Cyclops and Wolverine have split, and it's split up the whole teams in 2 again, which I like that. I don't like it when they've got them all in sort of one place. It's just a little too much of a cluster, bad word. Anyway, but I think this is a great place to jump in. Now, granted, it's issue number 2. Maybe you go find issue number 1, but it's also one of the quirkiest, strangest teams I've seen in X-Men. Now, granted, there have been a lot of strange, quirky teams in the X-Men, but I mean, you got some classics like Cyclops and Emma Frost, but then you've got Colossus now with the Gem of Sidorak, so he's kind of looking like Juggernaut. Magneto is on the team. Namor is on the team. It's just this really sort of oddball grouping, but it really works. There's some great chemistry there, some great work being done. Kieron Gillen is doing the writing. Artist Carlos Pacheco and Cam Smith are teaming up to knock this one out. Definitely go pick it up. I think it's a great time to jump back on the bandwagon with the Merry Mutants if you've been away for a while. All right. As always, I would always recommend you to go to your local comic book store. It's a industry that's really, really struggling. So Wednesday's New Comic Book Day, always a good day to swing by your local comic book shop. All right, enough about comics for this week. Software Soundoff. So this week's Software Soundoff will be dealing with numbers, for the week ending November 19th. So this isn't this most recent week, but the one before it. Number 1, Assassin's Creed Revelations for 360 sold about 700,000 units. Number 2, Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary moved 629,000. Number 3, back on the list, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 360 version sold another 622,000 units. Number 4, Assassin's Creed Revelations again, this time the PS3 version, sold 403,000. Number 5, coming back again, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, this time the PS3 version, sold 382,000 units. Now this brings, as of the end of the 19th, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3's totals across 360, PS3, and the PC to 7.43 million units sold. Just massive. All right, number 6, Saints Row the Third. A lot of newcomers this week. This is one of the many. For the 360 version, sold 343,000. Newcomer yet again at number 7, Super Mario 3D Land. So this is the only handheld title on this list this week. Sold 293,000 units. Number 8, one of the few returnings this week, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. This is the 360 version, sold another 287,000 units. And this brings the total for Skyrim across PS3, 360, and PC to 3.52 million units sold. So great, doing really, really well there. Number 9, Saints Row the Third, yet again, this time the PS3 version, sold 179,000 units. And rounding off at number 10, another newcomer, Need for Speed The Run for the 360, sold 151,000 units. And of course, next week we'll be looking at Black Friday week, the big holiday week. So we're going to expect to see some really, really, really massive numbers for next week's Software Soundoff. And I imagine the one after, hitting this week's Cyber Monday and all the continuing cyber deals, probably going to be some really, really big numbers coming up. All right, guys, Nerd TV. So in Nerd TV this week, this is something a little different for me. Got a little trailer that just came out for Battlefield 3's upcoming DLC, Back to Karkand. And normally this kind of thing wouldn't be the thing I would throw up on Nerd TV. It's like, oh, it's just another DLC trailer. But toward the end of it, it gets a little funny. You'll see there's 3 guys riding on a Bobcat in the middle of a desert war zone. And that just tickled me, because I don't understand the tactical advantage of being on a Bobcat. You got one guy driving it, one guy riding on the back with a rocket launcher, and one dude just sitting in the bucket with a gun. I'm sorry, but there's like jets and tanks and helicopters. You 3 are screwed. But I really want to drive a Bobcat in Battlefield now. So it doesn't make any sense, but it looks a lot of fun. All right, guys, see you in the next episode. Check out this trailer.
Peggy 16.